But I will say the cards are super shiny, and I like them a lot. And it's even more fun if you actually play the game.
Yeah, I mean that was the idea, but then I was also like, who's gonna play with me?
I'll play with you.
Yeah,
We could do a Modern Toy Fair Magic Night.
Yeah, that's easier said than done, though.
You just invest $100 in it.
Yeah, to potentially play once. Like, I already have like that $400 Masters of the Universe board game that I'm never gonna play.
I mean, I feel it. I have the Fallout board game, and I have never played it. But I mean, this just sounds like you have commitment issues at this point.
Oh yeah, that's part of it. I'm sure.
Which is really surprising because you've committed to a lot of Haslabs in your day.
I have. Most of them are sitting here unopened.
Yeah,
or at least several of them.
It's a real shame that they may not be around anymore.
Yeah. To it, my energy level is low.
Great way to start the podcast. Hello and welcome to Modern Toy Fair. I'm your host, Mr. Modern Toy Fair, and I'm joined by the founder of the NEC Illuminati, the delayer of shipments, the procrastinator of pre-orders, the perfect person, the two-time daddy. My YouTube wife, Mrs. Modern Toy Fair, Jarmar _games. But that's not all. I'm also joined by the man known as Bearded Spice. The man Modern Toy Fair has full custody over. The man Optimus Prime popped and he just won't stop. The Twilight Knight, the master of Mac, the three-pump chump of taking this show off the rails. Nate.
Oh.
How's everybody doing?
I've been better.
Me too.
Well, not too bad.
Me too. But I
was
mean,
jumping on Skittles trying to hurry up before
I
you
was
got
wondering
done
what
with
you
the
decided
intro. I was like,
to put in your
they
mouth
were just
right
so
as we were
chewy.
starting.
I was like, I couldn't finish them.
Oh, man. Yeah. Yeah. So no Corey. Like, that's a thing.
It's a sad shame that happened to him.
Yeah, you know.
I'm sure he won't ride a bicycle anytime soon.
The only thing worse is that, you know, I was so excited to make the topic of the show, is Corey a racist? And Nate was like, you can't put Corey's head on the Grandmaster's body and make that the thumbnail. That's too controversial. So now we're talking about Haslabs instead.
Well, I guess that's one way to pivot.
Well, I'm dragging the conversation out of you guys, so I figure we might as well just get right into it.
No, I meant that's one way to pivot from is Corey racist to Haslab.
Yeah.
I'm sure Hasbro appreciates being associated with that.
Well, you know, they did create Cobra Commander.
That is true.
Just saying.
Also, sure, Corey is excited about this as well.
I don't think Cobra Commander's a racist, though.
I
mean, he's a bad guy. No.
Oh, he's a bad guy, but he's not a bad guy.
Cobra.
Well, I mean, he's pretty welcoming as long as you, give your undying loyalty to him.
Is he? Like, are there people of color in Cobra?
Yeah. Yeah.
You're saying that, but you're looking off in the distance and you're trying real hard to think of one, and you can't.
Well,
I mean, cartoon Destro. Comic book Destro is Scottish, but that cartoon was black. I mean, listen to his voice. I mean, come on.
That makes Pimp Daddy Destro so much better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or worse.
Or worse, yeah.
Yeah, or worse.
To be fair, though, that was never an official name, so.
Yeah, well, I mean, they did call him Prophet Director Destro. Like,
right.
Come on now.
Right.
Come on now.
Look, now that I think about it, Michael, you kind of coined the term Pimp Daddy Destro.
Oh, no, it was a little before me.
Yeah.
Okay,
the original figure, which was released in limited quantities in 1997, earned that nickname. Which is what that figure is based on. Yeah.
I mean, I should have ran with it and then made that a clip for the TikToks and the Instagrams, and then had a bunch of people interact with the post, be like, well, actually, in 1987, this stuff. And, and it would have blown up. It would have been great.
Did I say 87? I meant 97.
Oh, I said 8. I don't know what you said. I couldn't remember what year you said, so I just
before before we start getting the comments, let's make sure I correct myself. It was 1997. It was part of the Toys R Us re-release Real American Hero collection that sucked.
But see, we want the comments, and engagement is key. That's why like the Reluctant Adult Podcast is not a place to go to for news, because they intentionally get things wrong to get engagement. Like Paul's literally said that on their podcast.
Yeah.
Like he'll say things wrong just to get people to like correct them in the comments, and I'm like, that's fucking brilliant. And I just can't seem to bring myself to do it, so instead I spew things out incorrectly because I'm stupid, not because I know better.
It is brilliant, but also, I mean, what does that say about our society? That like
we live in an unactually society.
Yeah, it's just crazy.
Everyone wants to be correct.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
pretty much. Everyone wants to be right, and everyone else has to be wrong.
If we're wrong, prove us wrong in the comments.
Yeah, comment below. Tell me how wrong I am.
Maybe we should do something like that. Like go out to like schools and colleges and stuff, like with a big thing that says like "prove me wrong" on it, and like argue with kids.
Hasbro ruined toys.
No one's ever done that before.
I prefer to not have any holes in my neck.
Oh, I wasn't gonna go that far.
That's one way to get demonetized.
I said I don't like piercings in my neck. What's so wrong with that?
That's actually not what you said.
Holes are piercings, technically.
I'm just trying to be right.
Oh, I see what you're doing. I see what you're doing. You're not even wearing your gold coat tonight.
No. I didn't prove me wrong.
So, go ahead.
No, sorry, I was reading the chat. Hello from Caracas, Venezuela. I'm not surprised after the last one failed. After the last what failed?
I'm assuming Haslab.
Yeah. The topic of the show. They're like, oh, I read the thumbnail. That's clearly what they're going to be talking about. And
instead, we're just like blah blah blah.
You're like, what failed? The last episode that we discussed?
Don't they all?
I thought maybe they were referencing to a previous podcast.
Oh,
or
no.
back when we used to do the Modern Toy Fair news 5 years ago.
I thought you were.
God, I don't miss those days. That was rough.
Reference to
remember doing 2 shows a night?
Oh my God, that was
Oh shit! I kind of forgot.
Because we would record and then we would do the weekly purchases.
Yeah.
And he wonders why we're trying to always have a day off.
Right.
Oh, come on. You guys. You come on. You went from 2
earn
hours a
PTO.
night. You went from 2 hours a night to
3
out of 4 or 3 hours a month.
Wait, 2 hours a night?
Oh, yeah, because every Wednesday we would do 2 hours. We do an hour for the podcast and an hour for weekly purchases.
Was it really only 2 hours?
Yeah.
I mean, it was probably like 2.5 by the time you guys showed up a little bit early, if you showed up on time at all, because I feel like we started late a lot, and then I had to rush for the podcast and make it 45 minutes instead of an hour, because usually someone was late, and we had to get to the live stream. So yeah, I'd say yeah.
That's true. The live stream would go a little bit long too.
I mean, it always does. I mean, we're on the live stream now, and it's gonna run long because we're 15 minutes in. We haven't gotten to the topic of the show, which is has Hasbro pumped the brakes on the Haslab experiment? So after years at this point of pretty much every other month, like you'd be in the middle of one ending and another one would start, and they usually would run for 45 days.
Yeah, they didn't run that many though. Like they would tend to double up or triple up on some of them, but those would technically be like the 3 that year. I don't think they ever did more than 4 in a year.
Okay, I thought they did one for each line if they could, because I remember they would do Marvel Legends, they do G.I. Joe, they do Star Wars Vintage Collection, they try to do something for either Black Series or some sort of prop, and then they'd occasionally do Ghostbusters. So, I mean, that's potentially 5. Oh, and Transformers, which always sneaks in there. No one talks about, but it always is successful and gets all the goodies and extras and stuff.
That's why spoilers, I don't think they're going away.
But I'm just saying it's 6 a year. We're on month 3 and we haven't had one yet.
Yeah.
So it's just very odd to me that you had the Tron one fail,
Yes.
and now they've been radio silent for a good portion of Q1. So it's just odd that would just kind of come to an end when we were getting.
Maybe
so
you should
often.
stop spreading in misinformation and actually look it up and see if we've actually ever had any in Q1.
First off, I have to spread information or misinformation. Otherwise, no one will watch the show. The numbers don't lie. Because guess what? Last week's episode about if Mattel is going to tell all the other turtle companies to go fuck themselves outperformed the past 12 episodes of the podcast. So, ha!
Oh, well, we didn't say anything incorrect in that episode. And if you doubt that, and if you have anything to say against it, let us know in the comments.
Yeah. Chime in.
Yeah, I thought you were going to actually say, Michael, you did the research and you.
Yeah, I thought so too.
The way you responded, and I was like, wow, I'm actually impressed. So, when was the last one? When was Tron?
Last one was Tron, which was in winter. So that was what that was November, right, Nate? Wasn't that ended?
I think so.
So that means all of December, January, February, and now we're almost done with March. So that's 4 months without a Haslab. And if they were pumping out 5 to 6 of them a year, that literally comes out to almost every other month. So where
here's
is it?
The question:
are they stale? Are they just like holding off while they wait to see if they can get their money back from the tariffs? Like,
there's nothing pending currently, like that has already filled and hasn't shipped yet?
Yes. Okay. There's multiple. The Ghostbusters one just shipped probably like a month ago, maybe 2 months ago. So for the Ecto and all those figures, the Snowcat for G.I. Joe is I'm assuming summer that we'll see it. There's the Transformers Leo Kaiser, which I think is fall, and then the Star Wars gunship, Republic gunship, which I think is also fall.
Oh, so I mean that's a lot. I mean, has it ever been a moment to where they've paused to try and get everything out?
No.
Could that be just? Oh, okay. I'm just trying to get.
I get definitely what you're saying. And that's actually been kind of a complaint in that it might be what they're doing. Is that some people would like to get some of these things in hand before they put the money in to the next one. They've also been experimenting with the made to order. Mm-hmm. So they did that several times with Marvel Legends, and then they've done that with the Arctic Hiss tank. So, we'll see how that goes. But like you mentioned, with the exception of Unicron, Transformers has been pretty unproblematic as far as their campaigns. They pretty much get funded right away. They hit everything. I'm not going to say nobody tends to bitch, but I don't really see a lot of.
I don't see anyone talk about Transformers at all, ever.
Yeah, they get funded, hit all the goals, no problem. Because I think personally, those are probably some of the best values. Generally, they're under $200, and you get something you like or you want. So. And what I appreciate with all of theirs has been all of them related to like the Japanese series or figures and characters that weren't here in the U.S. ever before. So that's always been really cool, and I think that's why those are successful. And I don't see G.I. Joe not doing another one. Every single one of those has been super successful. And to come to this summer without one, I don't know, man. I would be shocked to not see one. Now, would I not be shocked to not see a Star Wars? I wouldn't, because I think that last one was a tough one. And I think they've run out of ideas, or at least having a tough time filling through. Although I did hear that potentially the next Star Wars one would be another Black Series go, which would be interesting because I just don't think Black Series fans are interested in that kind of stuff.
At least not what they've been
Um,
offering.
yeah, yeah. So
Yeah, it's very strange to me that, like you said, maybe they're just trying to catch up and appease the people who are upset that they keep giving them money and not getting their stuff, even though usually the expectation is you wait a year.
yeah,
Is the only reason why it's well, not the only reason, because we're very smart and plugged into the industry. The only reason why we assume that it could be over because of the last one failing in just the silence. Is that like, or
I
has there
don't
been
think it's
anything else?
that necessarily. I think it's a number of things. I think with last year, with how unsure things were and how much they had to finagle because of tariffs, a mix of that, mix of maybe some of them aren't funding as fast as they used to because people's wallets and space are getting tighter. It's them maybe being a little more self-aware of like, hey, we need to do this a little smarter or we're going to have more fail and that's not going to look good for the shareholders. So I think it's more of this them, if this is, them taking a step back and slowing down or getting rid of it, I think it's more trying to be as smart about it versus it being like scared of the Tron one. Because I don't think anyone at Hasbro, except for maybe like one or two people, really thought that Tron was going to like fund.
I have a hard time with that one. There were so many things going against it that I don't know. Like you had the fact that, I mean, first of all, the movie is like 47 years old at this point. Like it's really old.
I mean, Star Wars.
I know, but
I'm
Star
aware.
Wars has been
I
around.
know the
I
difference,
mean,
but I'm just saying that like,
It's a big
yeah,
comparison.
but it's still, you've had 3 movies total. None of them have been terribly successful. I mean, let's just be
figure it
honest.
out.
Even Legacy, which is people's favorites, did not do well.
Mm-mm.
Um, the price on it was ridiculous for what you were getting. Was it 4 figures or 6 figures
Oh
that you
God.
got? I can't even
I
remember
think it was
now.
4
Like
because wasn't it 4 figures and 4 bikes?
I think it was 4 figures and 2 bikes.
Oh, I thought it was 4 figures and 4 bikes.
No, I think it was 2 bikes with effects with that grid thing, and it was like $250 or $275.
It was
And it
expensive
was,
and it didn't light up or nothing.
yeah. And again, that movie is very
2 bikes.
niche. And it didn't help that the same weekend that they showed that off, they also showed 6-inch versions of Legacy figures, which who knows if those will even ever come out
I don't
anyway.
think
But
so.
like most people don't, they want to collect one scale, most times, even with Star Wars, most times you have people who are Black Series figure collectors or vintage collection. A lot of times you don't get both, or people just get a little bit here and there. But for that to be your only figures of the original to be 4-inch, and then your other ones are 6-inch, that's just a terrible idea. I think showing those figures shot themselves in the foot right out of the gate.
Mm-hmm.
And then the price on top of it, I would have liked those figures. I
Oh,
like
yeah.
Tron,
Same.
but I like Tron. Like I don't love it. It's not like a huge thing for me. At 200 and whatever dollars it was. No, if it was 100 or 150, even then, and I hate to be the one that's like, oh, you should price it at this. I'm just saying what I would be comfortable paying. I
Right.
have no idea what the price, entails with all of that as
I mean,
far as
even if you
design.
break it down based off of like a vintage collection pricing, you've got 4
Right.
figures, so that's $80, $20
Yeah.
each. You've got 2 tiny vehicles, so that's what, another
Which at
$30
this point,
each.
no, because like that new Grogu Mandalorian little figure Walker set is $67, and it is about the same size as those. So who knows anymore?
Okay, so then let's even if we want to go by that pricing and not, because even though that's a newer pricing versus
Let's
like
just say
6 months ago.
40 because it doesn't have a figure in it.
Yeah, so we'll say
You know, 'cause
$40 each. So that's another 80. So that puts you at 160.
Yeah.
stand
then a
and all the
box to
other
put 'em in.
and the effects and stuff.
Then they have like the stand and stuff.
We'll put you at like we'll say 200 for the Haslab tax and all the extras. So you're
Wait,
Still
how
too
much was
expensive.
it?
it was like 250 or 275 or something. It was
Okay.
expensive. Yeah. So while it doesn't seem like a lot for it to be $50 more, if people weren't willing to pay $50 more for the Engine of Vengeance, they sure as fuck weren't going to do it for a Tron 3 3/4 figure set.
Right. Yeah.
Is there, like, I mean, I'm only building my information based on just the experiences with you guys, but what sticks out to me is like big fails. I guess we could add this into here, but the Rancor that stands out to me.
Yeah,
that had
that one flopped.
but that wasn't the same sort of issue of like overpriced or
That was a
Uh,
handful of things. It was
Yeah.
some people bitched because it just it takes up a lot of real estate having a in scale Rancor for the 6-inch figure line. The add-ons were not great. You got like a bag of plastic bones. You got a cardboard backdrop, and I think you got one figure, if I remember correctly, which they added on after the fact. I think, if I remember correctly.
Yeah. Yeah. Tron was 260 and 5 figures.
Okay.
So
Which even then,
just
that's
to double check on
Well,
not great.
what are I mean, I guess what I was trying to get at. I was thinking of the other one. Wasn't it like it was Ghost Rider?
The Engine of Vengeance.
That one.
That one was.
Oh, that's what you would just say. Yeah, but that
350?
was. But none of these, we've had failures before, so I don't think
Mhm.
that would have really
Yeah,
like,
they-
anything to do. They've bounced back, and like you said, Transformers.
And that
is
is the
doing their-
nature of the program.
Mhm.
You know,
Yeah.
I mean, if it doesn't fund, it doesn't get made. So they're testing things.
That's the
You
point.
want to see a big success, obviously, because a lot of money goes into the
Prototypes
the
and-
development and pre-production and all that stuff. So they've had more successes than failures, but the failures are stacking up.
Mhm.
I mean, going all the way back, there was Cookie Monster, which was the second one, which I still didn't think they had figured out how this was going to
Yeah.
roll. So you had Cookie Monster, Engine of Vengeance, Rancor, the lightsaber, and then Tron, I think, is all of the.
Yeah, because all
Like-
the Marvel Legends ones beside that were Sentinel, Giant Man, and what was the other one?
The Galactus.
Galactus. That's right. Which were those 3 big dudes. Because that was when they tried to pivot and do something other than just giant characters, and that's kind of
Yes.
where they were like, well, we're not doing that again, kind of thing. So you've got about 5 failures, which isn't bad considering they've been doing this program for 5-6 years. When did
I think
the first couple with the sail barge?
I
and
think
Cookie Monster
the
on it?
sail barge was, it was pre-pandemic. So I mean, it's at least been 7 years, if not 8 years.
Yeah, so almost a decade of doing this, and you only have 5
Yeah.
failures, and you've been doing at a minimum of
Really not
4 to 6 a year. That's a pretty good batting average, right?
So
Mhm.
everyone's being goofy, and there's no issue. Maybe they're just taking a quarter off.
They're a publicly traded company. They have gone through a lot in the past couple of years. I mean, they had that 25% loss of profit when they did the windowless boxes.
Mhm.
They had some issues last year with money and stuff, and then this year they have the lawsuit, which I think has already been dropped for Magic the Gathering from the shareholders. So they've had some choppy waters for other reasons that weren't related. But ultimately, like I said, they are a publicly traded company, so they have to make sure they're doing things to appease those shareholders. So after having Tron fail, and maybe in some of the other projects, like even the last Arctic thing for G.I. Joe, it didn't fund as fast as they usually do, as far as like having all the stretch goals and stuff. Like, didn't it like just barely get through the stretch goals?
Yeah, it hit like the initial funding pretty early, I think. But yeah, the stretch goals took a while. But it was dumb then, because then literally the last day it doubled,
Mm-hmm.
and that's just so dumb
Yeah.
because it's dumb.
Yeah.
You don't get charged until, I mean, really, whatever. We could talk. We have talked ad nauseum
Yeah.
about that process. So yeah, you are correct though. They didn't hit all of them. The Star Wars gunship did not. I think it only got through one.
Yeah, it definitely it struggled. I don't even think I got
'Cause it
funded
was
until
looking
like the last
iffy.
like week.
Yeah, yeah, it was looking iffy as it went.
It was actively
Even the
losing people up until
cantina,
that last week.
yeah, even the cantina didn't clear all the goals. There was still one carded figure that didn't get included in that.
Mm-hmm.
So you
When-
know,
when you say like it didn't hit all like the stretch goals, wouldn't you think to Hasbro like just hitting like just funding it is a like huge success? Because they're not saying like exactly at cost, so they're
Yeah.
still
Yeah.
profiting.
So it's not necessarily.
oh, of course,
I don't think it's so much
Yeah.
that, but I think it's showing how much interest there is. Because if you look at previous Haslabs
Sure.
that would fund instantly, they'd blow through the stretch goals. Maybe the last one took a few extra weeks or like down to the wire, but like they always like went over and beyond. When you fast forward to nowadays, and some of them aren't even hitting all the stretch goals, or are only hitting one, or barely funding. That's just that kind of opens your eyes a little bit. Like, okay, are we, running this too thin? Should we maybe ease back and give collectors a moment to breathe?
that's
They're
definitely
voting.
something that should be.
They're voting with their wallets. Obviously, they don't have space, so we need to be smarter about these projects if we don't want more to fail.
Well, and that's the thing too. So what I have noticed, because out of the three of us, I go to more shows and stuff like that. The secondary marketability on these has greatly diminished.
It is plummeted.
Yeah. So what people originally were like, oh, I'll buy two and I'll be able to pay for my one by selling my other, and they're not. They're barely selling them for much more than what they were.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, I my friend, Chuck was selling his Ghost really because he had no room for it. The Rebels Ghost. It's a really cool looking ship, but it really doesn't do anything. Like there's not a lot of like open play features or like display ability.
Does it not
through it.
open up like some of the other ones?
A little, but it's just a little section. It's a back section, and then the cockpit you can open, and then the front door. Where like most Millennium Falcons have like a whole open back. You can set up all kinds of scenes in it and stuff like that. So it's really not that much fun. And it's big. It's huge. I still don't have a place for it. It's like it's in an extra room that we have, an extra bedroom, because I don't know what to do with it right now because I don't have a place to put it. And that is another huge one. I have not opened my Razor Crest. I have not opened my Mos Eisley Cantina. And while not a Haslab, I have not opened my Mattel Creations Eternia either. My Transformers ones get instantly opened because they're not that big. They're smaller. And my G.I. Joe ones get opened because that's my main thing. So I love those. I get those out immediately. So yeah, I think that's a huge part of it with spacing. And now that we've had so many of these, and the fact that the marketability in the secondary market has gone down, I think that's why we're seeing them not be as successful. And these goals that they're setting are way bigger than they used to be. If you look at the original with the sail barge, and I'm looking at it because it's probably still like the best thing they've ever done. That was 5,000, and it hit 7, which is why it does have a huge secondary market, because nobody got it in comparison. Because I think the Razor Crest did like 28,000 in comparison, so 21,000 more Razor Crests exist than the Katana. But
Yeah.
those goals were light.
Yeah.
And I've talked about it again many times. I don't really like the idea of the stretch goal. I get it, but I would just rather it be, hey, this is what you get if you hit this number. Because I hate playing the game.
Yeah,
Or
I
make
get
it special.
Or I think they should do it in a way where maybe they don't reveal. Well, no, because that failed so hard from before. I was gonna say something where they don't reveal what the stretch goal is until
because
it
it's
happens.
never what people want, and I don't understand the thought process. They get mad when it's not a super unique character, but yet putting a super unique character behind a massive paywall like that is real stupid too.
Yeah.
So I think they really do find a way to kind of ride that line. Every one of these GI Joe ones, for instance, they always come with the original pilot or driver. So that does put that figure behind a paywall, but at the same time,
what are you going to use that figure for? Like without the actual vehicle?
Exactly. And then you get like the most recent one on the Snowcat. You got like a Winter Duke and a Winter Lady J. I thought that was a great way to do it. People were like, why don't you include, Sub-Zero and include Frostbite? And I'm like, well, oh no, wait, Frostbite was the one that was in there. There's another one I can't remember. Iceberg. That would be horrible. Like, can you imagine if you're like a big Iceberg fan and you have to buy this $350, vehicle to even get them? Like, that's dumb.
At the same time, though, they're notorious for still releasing a lot of these figures in some other way, shape, or form. Because look at the Cobra Commander with the fancy metal mask. Like they re-released that without the Mickey Mouse.
Yes, it is slightly different in paint, and the helmet is different, and there's things like that. But that was also like a fun little add-on as well. That the actual Hiss tank driver has not come out. Now, that being said, they are looking to release a mainline release of Wild Bill, which I also don't think is a terrible idea. Make them different enough that the original one is still, nice, and then you have it exclusive with your Dragonfly. But yeah, make another one available. I don't have a problem with that. I don't know. I just don't.
Yeah, we talked about this before on our multiple Haslab breakdowns. But I always just thought the idea would be
like
great.
A greatest hits.
Yeah, but it just be cool. Like instead of telling you anything, you're like, "This is what you're getting," and then once it's funded, it'd be like, "Wow, we had such a great response. We're adding this, this, and this." So then the people who but I guess I could understand why people would be mad about it and be like, "Oh, I would have funded it if I would have known it was coming with that."
There's that, and there's also the people who are going to be like, "Oh, the second you don't do that because it doesn't do as well, or you don't know what that imaginary line in the sand is," are going to be like, "Why didn't I get a bunch of cool extra figures with my Haslab, but they got a bunch of cool extra figures with their Haslab?" And it's just like a lot of dominoes that will to deal with.
They did do that with the Transformers, the Star Victory Saber. Like they included a couple extra little Micromasters. They had already existed, but they were recolors to look like the Japanese animation, which I thought was nice. That was not originally, or maybe two of them were, and you got four. I'm having a hard time remembering, but I remember there being a thing on the day after that was like, hey, we're going to go ahead and include these two, which I thought was a nice touch.
Yeah, like if you've already, like you've hit all your stretch goals and then some, and you're like, it did so well, we're going to add this as like a special thing. That's different than that being just like the norm. So I can get why they don't do that. We do have some chats here. I do want to say first, Toku Gator, I saw your chat. I'm saving it here for a little bit just because, like you said in your own comment, it will derail us a little bit, but I do want to talk about it. We've got Laser Pants in the chat. I think Hasbro may have priced themselves out of the market with Haslabs. The downfall began with the Rancor, Joes, and Transformers still work because they keep the prices down, kind of. And
because I had gotten every Star Wars up until the gunship, and I was like, I think it was $475, and I was like, I cannot justify $475 for a vehicle from a movie that, let's be honest, is not my favorite. In fact, it ranks pretty low. So yeah,
makes sense.
That's fair. We do have Fig Fan Samurai in the chat as well. He did mention but then they made Steeler without the tank. Isn't it after 2 years they can release the main line? Or at least in the main lane.
I don't know if there's any rule on that. That might be correct. I don't know. Yeah. I don't think that we'll ever see straight up re-releases of anything. There will be differences of some kind because they do have to keep that exclusivity part of it, because otherwise if you re-release something as it was, then what's the point of doing the campaign to begin with as a consumer?
Isn't the idea though of like, hey, we don't know if we can make this, but the real hardcore of hardcore fans, you guys supported this and you made this a possibility, and now that we have this tooling and everything, we're gonna do a little bit of a wider release, say like on Hasbro Pulse or something like that, to give other people who missed out on an opportunity. Sure, it won't have like the exact same thing. Like, I guess I'm thinking too rational, but I don't see, like, if that was me, I wouldn't be like, oh fuck them, they should have supported it when they could. Like,
You have to remember there's a part of the community that is very into the McFarlane mentality of collectability, where they want things that are exclusive, things that they have that others don't. They want that thing to feel special more so than just having it to have it. So that's
I think
part
also
of it.
this it's an important distinction that this is not Kickstarter.
Mm-hmm.
This
well,
is
yeah,
not
no,
getting it funded and then selling it later on to other
right.
people as well. I do think they're kind of meeting in the middle with, like, say, like that the Arctic Hiss. It's the same tooling, but it's in a different color. It comes with different figures. You know, it's, if you missed out on the Hiss tank, here's your opportunity to get a Hiss tank,
Just not
but it's
the
not the exact same one.
yeah.
And not, I don't mean it in like a Kickstarter like funded way. I mean it as in like, we're doing this to test the interest if it is even a thing that we should do. But then you kind of like proved, okay, there is something here. Maybe we can release this now in a different, way to expand, to make more money. Because at the end of the day, that's all they care about is making more money.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a weird thing that I guess I haven't really thought about, because there's nothing in my collection. I mean, there's things that I could understand would be like, this is very unique to me or this is exclusive, but nothing in my collection is like, I admire it because of how hard it is for someone to get it. I admire it because
And
it's something I actually love.
yeah,
That's so
I
weird.
don't
Yeah.
feel the same way. Like, I feel similar to you, even though I do have, like, if they came out tomorrow and said, "Hey, we're gonna re-release the katana," I would actually be kind of happy for people, because this was the first one, and so many people didn't partake in it because they didn't really understand or didn't get behind it or whatever the reason was. But it would also be twice as much, I think, now
Yeah,
too.
that's something to
As,
take into factor. Yeah.
yeah,
Which then people will be upset about
so
that. Like, oh well, they only had to
right,
pay $250. Why do I have to pay
sure.
$350? It's
That
there's
was
so
also
many
7-8 years
yeah.
ago, so suck it.
Yeah. Which same could be said
But
with
I also
like
wouldn't be
with
mad.
McFarlane and the animated series figures. Most
Right.
of those are literally just those old molds. And when those came out originally, those were what, $20?
I think so, yeah.
So now they're what, 30, 25, 30?
30.
Yeah. So like again, it was, that was a decade ago at this point. You know that like DC Direct hasn't been making figures in ages.
Hasn't existed. I mean, other than under the McFarlane banner,
Yeah.
it hasn't existed in years.
So yeah, I don't know. Laser Pants did say he thinks it's 3 years. He thinks that's what they've said. He also mentioned they could strip down the Haslab Sentinel with just the Master Mold head in cartoon colors to match the made to order X-Men 97 one.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there's things they could do. I did find that interesting though, because that's definitely something that surprised me. The Hiss tank, they just painted that thing white and were like, it's a snow Hiss tank. The Sentinel, they made a whole new mold, made it a little bit smaller, came with a little bit less, and I don't think it lights up, but they made a whole new figure versus just, stripping it down or maybe changing the color scheme. So I was kind of surprised by that.
That's one thing that is an interesting, I want to say, like, sticking point, but like, so all the G.I. Joe ones have had lights and stuff in them. and I have not put batteries in any of them thus far. Like, so for me, that's an added cost that I don't need,
That's fair.
but other people probably like it. But I don't know how much people actually use it. Chat, I would be curious to see if anybody, still lights up their his tank or does stuff. I would be too worried about having it sit on the shelf and have like a
And
battery
leave the
bust
better.
open and
Yeah.
yeah. So
Yeah.
I just don't do it at all.
I will say I enjoyed it on the Sentinel, the original
Yeah.
one, just because it was cool, at least for like the eyes to light up and stuff. Then again, I was using it to take pictures with and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So there was a little more to it. Like when it was sitting on the shelf, I wouldn't just go and be like boop and like turn it on or anything. It was usually like I was
Yeah.
using it for a purpose. So I can see why, yeah, most people who are just putting it on display and enjoying it that way aren't going to be like, I want it to light up and make sounds. Usually I'm against that too, so I get it.
I'm also thinking that the Arctic Hiss doesn't have the lights because it's only quote unquote only 250,
It's
and
possible.
so I think they stripped it out of
It'd be
there.
really weird, but who knows? Lizard
Yeah.
Pants just said that he should probably take the batteries out of his tank.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like current day batteries aren't as bad as they used to be, where like
Correct.
you find old toys and it's just a mess when you unscrew that hatch.
Try to get them
yeah.
out.
I still
Yeah.
wouldn't trust it.
Yeah. I think you're safe at this point, but I'd take them out.
Yeah, I just would make a note of it for the future.
Yeah.
All right, as he did confirm Arctic Hiss no lights, so we do have that.
Okay.
50th Samurai, I put lights in my Dragonfly, but I gotta take them out because it's been a few years. That's fair.
Batteries.
Well, he said lights.
Oh, I just thought maybe
I
you read
may
it wrong.
be dyslexic and ADHD riddled to the point where I struggle reading, but I can tell the difference between lights and batteries, Jarmar. That much I can.
Well, I mean, we were saying lights, and then I just thought, but
No, I get
yeah,
it.
I mean, yeah.
Toku Gator, lights and toys seem like something you show someone once in a while and then put them out immediately. Yeah.
Yes.
But
When
know
you
what
show
would
it to
be-
somebody, you're like, yeah, check this out. And then that's it.
That's fair. That's
remote control. That could be like cool. Like if I had like granted, I don't have the space for this, but if I had like a Technodrome, it would be cool to be able to just like turn it on and let it like be lit up or whatever, and then when I want to turn it off, I can turn it off. Because it would be more of a piece that's like a decorative piece is how I would see that. Because I don't think I would actively like play with it. You know what I mean? Depending on like the scale.
Hey, man.
And stuff.
You need to send that into Mattel Creations for next year.
Which brings
Cool
us
idea.
to a segue to Toku Gator's earlier comment. He said, and he's got it two here consecutively. He's got, not to derail so early, but is this exclusively a Hasbro issue? Has Mattel announced any crowd funds either yet? I could see Mattel cooking up something with Turtles. Granted, that wouldn't be till next year.
Real quick,
Mm-hmm.
before we respond, has this person ever seen any of our content? We derail immediately. I think we were already derailed before
We derailed
they
before
even
anyone
submitted
commented.
the conversation. Like, so it's okay. It's totally
to be
okay.
fair, I had to really get you guys talking, so I had to do something to get the juices flowing. Without Corey here, like, apparently it's just
But to answer the first question, no, because the last thing Mattel did was the snake layer, which
that's been a while.
I
hasn't it?
believe that, yeah, because they did it initially and then people weren't happy. And so they changed it. And then I think that went through, I think Corey got it.
Sounds
I
about
did not. I was like, I don't need that. But yeah, that's the last thing. Now, to be fair though, I think they've only done
They don't do a lot.
3. They don't
Yeah.
do a lot.
And grant they've also had a lot worse ratio because of that. Because they've
Right.
tried with that WCW
Oh, the
Nitro
wrestling
ring,
rings.
and
Yeah.
that failed spectacularly, which is a shame. Because if I had the space, I would have been all over it. Because
Yeah.
that's a dream for me. I've always, back when I collected wrestling figures regularly, that was a dream to me, is have like an actual in scale entrance arena to go with like a ring that's in scale and like announce table and the whole thing. So I thought it was really cool. I don't have the space for it.
I would be interested to see what if Mattel would do something like that. The only issue there is there's been so much great stuff brought out by other companies over the last few years. Like, well, I mean, like the Turtle Vans and um,
I could see them still doing a
like
turtle
the
van though.
Labs and stuff. They definitely will because every company has to do one. But
Mhm.
I would almost think that
It's in the contract.
depending on which version they do, like that would actually be a retail release. But something like a remote control Terradrome or wait,
Technodrome.
Technodrome, I'm getting confused with G.I. Joe, would be pretty cool. Not gonna lie. Or a bat cave of some kind that's more for the collector and not for
Yeah.
not packed with play features and stuff like that. Maybe something a little bit better than what DC Direct did, which was, I mean, I'm looking at it.
I mean,
I'm like,
it's
there's
still
really
cool.
not much going on.
There's not much
It's
going on.
cool.
It's
There's not much to do.
I think what
it's
they
a display
did,
piece.
I think what they did was great for shelf display.
Yes.
Like if you're wanting to do something with like having a whole thing set up for photos and stuff, no. But if you wanted something that could fit on your shelf comfortably and still look good, it's perfect.
Right.
So I do get that. Yeah, I could. Oh yeah, the Jurassic Park gate was a huge failure. Forgot about that.
Oh, that's right.
Wow.
I did forget about that one.
I feel
That
like
was
maybe
way too expensive, I think.
Yeah, for
For
what
what
you were
it
getting, it was Tron
Yeah.
levels bad.
Yeah.
but like that. I mean, I guess I'm assuming a lot here, but I feel like the fandom for these things aren't set up the same as like
It's
Haslab's.
arguable
Like
because
the properties, I guess, is what I'm thinking. Because you're talking about wrestling.
wrestling fans, they're fucking.
I'm not saying they're
rad.
not fans. I'm just saying that like the size of something like you said, the actual usability of something in that regard seems.
So I agree that
What
it
else
was,
could you do for wrestling?
It was too big. There's not really much you could do for wrestling. It was
That's
too
my
big
point,
for
yeah.
most people, but a lot of like wrestling figure collectors, they have a ring and they have some of the old entrance ramps that were sold at retail, which aren't like massive or anything, but they still take up space. And even the rings won't fit on a shelf. Like unless you
No, not at
buy
all.
like one of the old like retro Hasbro ones from the 80s, they don't fit on the shelf unless you put them sideways, like on the side. So at that point, you're already either tearing it down and putting it back up, or you have like a table or something, cart table set up with
special
it.
table for it.
So they're already like, if you're into that, either used to putting something away or having a big display.
Wouldn't that mean they
And if
already
you have
that?
one, you don't need necessarily another one, even though
Sure.
they're different.
Yeah.
It's like, well, I already spent all this money on this one here.
Yeah.
I think that also the dangerous part for that for wrestling collectors is if that would have funded and they would have bought it, well, then what happens when the next one comes out and they do Raw
Right.
or SmackDown? Like WCW was a great way to start because it's very dynamic and WCW has a like great, strong hold in people's hearts. But at the same time, if they would have started with like SmackDown with the giant fist, it probably would have funded because people at that point would hold out for something for the one that they really liked the most versus just getting one to get one. And with it
Right.
being WCW, it makes it a little harder when most of your figures are WWE. But yeah, most of the, I mean, I'm trying to think, like Jurassic Park, the fandom is weird because those Hammond collection figures are expensive as shit on the aftermarket. Like that, it's wild.
I know.
But then you don't really see them sell out on Target shelves or on Amazon or anything. So it's very weird. So yeah, it's kind of not surprising that failed. Wrestling, I'm kind of shocked just because how crazy they are. Because I mean, that's a fandom that
I think you answered it.
You think that Nate has a lot of Wolverines. These people have literally 8 versions of every wrestler because they have so many different ring gears, different variations.
Yeah, no,
from different,
I don't doubt that. I
versions
just
of a
wonder, like
character.
you said.
I'm trying to think of what other brands Mattel would have tried it with. Because obviously He-Man works for
Right.
the most part.
And it'll be interesting to see what if they do something movie related, because I just don't see them bringing out a Chronicles branded Castle Grayskull for the movie, but yet everyone would want a really nice movie Castle Grayskull. So I would be curious to see if they would offer something like that.
Possibly.
I think the big test, I guess, would be I mean, they already know that like Masters is like kind of successful. They know they can do that. The other properties I feel is just a weird, awkward thing. But now getting like DC and like of course Turtles, maybe that will be like their way of like, okay, we can get back into this. If we can't make it successful with these two properties, then
Right.
it is what it is. We're done
Yeah.
with doing creations.
Yeah, that's fair.
I'm not looking forward to it because I don't like to give away a lot of money.
They're gonna go in raw on you for many years.
About time.
I mean, luckily for you, no one else will be allowed to make turtle toys, so you'll have plenty of money. And that's a fact.
Facts. That is a fact. If you have a disagreement, let us know in the comment.
Yeah, tell us if you think we're wrong and you have a very strong internet knowledge of licensing laws, because all contracts are the same. No, I appreciate that guy reaching out and trying to inform us of how things work. But unfortunately, all lawyers are different, all contracts are different, and it's already...
I'll never forget, just as an example, so like NECA, they had the rights for Carl Weathers, for Apollo Creed, for the Rocky figures because it came with the license. But they did not have it for Predator because it wasn't included with the license. So everybody instantly thought, oh, you made Apollo Creed, you can make, him in Predator. And that's not how it works.
No, I mean, that's not how, like, had they reached out to him and gotten the license for his likeness in general, they could have made it work. But yeah, it's not guaranteed, because like that's another thing of when
not willing.
When people were speculating that Tom Cruise was going to be part of the MCU, it's been well known that he doesn't like to give his likeness rights away. So you wouldn't get any figures. So that's probably a reason why they haven't.
So that keeps him out of franchise things like that.
Yeah, because they are ultimately, just like TV shows were for us in the 80s and 90s, meant to push merchandise and toys.
Absolutely. He put a kibosh on a pop for the Mummy.
Yeah.
And so
that doesn't even fucking look like him.
Right. So
oh man. I do want to point out, Laserpants mentioned he likes how Ramen Toys did the Ramen Racer with a USB port to charge it instead of having batteries.
That's awesome.
That
is awesome.
Thing. And I am hopefully
that's the one thing I love about a lot of these independent companies is that they're finding new and interesting ways to do things. I mean, just coming back from ZoloCon a couple weeks ago, we saw Big Bad Workshop, Valaverse, Savage Crucible, and Mythic Legions, just to throw out a couple of them. And every one of them had something cool and something unique that they were bringing to the table. And that's where that's a whole nother topic, but that's just where my excitement is heading.
That's fair. I'm still sad that Ramen wasn't there. I was so excited because I thought they were going to be, and then I found they weren't, and I was like, damn, because I want to get that man so bad. It's got to happen soon, especially for some of the fun things I have planned that I'm making, but we'll see more about that in the coming weeks. Speaking of which, Nate, isn't there a place where you can pre-order action figures that you are looking forward to?
Let me take a look here, because I think you're right about that, and I need to do some of this research real quick. And wouldn't you know it? In fact, if you are looking for the latest in Marvel Legends, DC Multiverse, SH Figure Arts, NECA action figures, and more without the hassle, check out nerdzoic.com, where you can find all of that and more. This family-owned online toy store built by a collector for collectors. What started as a YouTube channel sharing a passion for toys and industry insight has grown into a massive online shop packed with your favorite action figures from all the lines you love. Big Nerdy and his crew work hard to ship fast, so you're not waiting to crack open the latest action figures that you've been itching to pose. Huge inventory, great customer service, and a passion for action figures. Head on over to nerdzoic.com for all of your action figure needs. And just to throw it out there, I made multiple purchases on nerdzoic.com this week. I got my Joker from the not Jack Nicholson Joker, both of the new GI Joe releases, and I did get a shipment, and I've only opened one so far. But I mean, check out how cool this is.
That's
Look
dope.
at this dude.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
So this is
G.I.
the
Joe?
Mole Rat. Yeah, this is the Mole Rat version 2. And he's got a full-on Energon infection going on here, which is what this is. So it's like kind of the first really crossover toy in a while in the main line for Transformers and G.I. Joe, because that is definitely an Energon infection going on there. So previous version had the gas mask in a different color and the infected head in a different color, but this is the first one with the full-on Energon outbreak, and I love this. I think I might actually get a couple more of these, at least one more, and I'll have my previous Mole Rat as like the leader, but I want to show off all the heads because these are fun. That's it. That's my Nerdzoic pitch.
Awesome. So yeah, make sure to head over to Nerdzoic for all of your action figure needs. Link in the description below for his website, social media, YouTube, everything. Just go check him out. Go support Big Nerdy. He deserves it. One last thing. Well, no, two last things before we close out. Actually, they're connected. So Lizardpants says, I can't confirm, in quotations, it, but I have been told by industry people who work at toy companies that currently hold the TMNT license that he corrected himself afterwards, their contracts are not being renewed when they expire.
Interesting. Yep.
The question is, when do they expire? Because like I said, there was that guy on the last video who said that they all go through 2026 according to Brian Flynn, because he's best friends with everyone and they all talk about things they shouldn't talk about.
Yeah.
But if that's so, oh man, that's gonna make it hurt to support
I'm gonna
Mattel
cry next year
because there's so much I still want that I'm not gonna get. And
well, they
unless
need
do
to go
something
full on McFarlane and release everything, because
well, no, I need them to
I'm
do
sorry,
better
I
than
don't think
McFarlane. I want McFarlane figures,
Yeah,
please.
please don't say that. Please don't
I'm
say
Can
that.
we say
But no, I
they
know
need to
what
go
you mean.
full on Masterverse? Because I feel like Masterverse, you get everything. Like they throw the
We're
kitchen
not
sink at that.
well, I'm just saying McFarlane has released almost everything this year. Like there has to be like 200 figures coming out this year before their license at DC expires. So they're just cranking them out in overtime and completing that run. And obviously we all have different opinions on Todd, but kudos for getting it done like that.
Yeah. I give him. He puts the work in. I'll give him nothing. If they have nothing else. And
Well, he puts in some kind
I
of work.
And I do love the Fallout line despite its faults. So, and I'm hoping that Claudio doesn't fail me. Talked to him at ZoloCon, and he did say there's more on the way, and that the Fallout line has been a huge success, and they're very happy with it. So, fingers crossed. Considering the only figure technically officially announced for this year is that Nuka-Cola figure that kind of leaked that the remaster of Fallout 3 is coming out, and that's not set to come out until August, I think it said, and it's gonna be GameStop exclusive. So, yeah.
Are GameStop's going to be around in August?
GameStop's, yeah. They just keep closing stores so that way they no longer have one on every corner and quit trying to be McDonald's.
Yeah, but still.
And they also sell Pokemon cards.
Yeah, Pokemon and Magic are going to sustain GameStop for a while.
So,
yeah, I guess that's the new game in GameStop.
Yeah, I mean, technically, it is a game. It's a trading card game. So
it is.
At least they're staying on brand versus when they try to become a collectible store. Because I'm like, that's not a game. So,
I mean, to them. Sometimes it feels like a game.
It is a game. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the fucking worst game.
But yeah, if you'd like to know our opinions on what Mattel will do with the Turtle license, watch this video or click this link right here.
It's not there. Just click
right
on
here.
it.
Yeah, right here.
Oh, it's not here?
No.
Yeah, it's over
there. Click it right here.
There it goes.
Click it right.
There we go.
Just go to the channel and go. It should be like right at the top under the lives.
Oh,
and
up here?
that.
Yeah, right here.
He said right. He said
and while
right
you're
on the
at
top.
it, watch my Masters of the Universe Smasher Pass, which is right here.
That
classic.
I don't know
Keep
which
it
one it
ringing.
is, but one of your Smasher Passes is the video that pops up immediately and starts playing when people go to our YouTube channel. I think it's the first one we did because it's just me and you.
So it is
That's
right
awesome.
here.
So technically,
Yeah.
it's not here, but it is on the main part of the channel.
It's
And
there.
I'm putting it out there. Sometime this year, we're going to do a live Masters of the Universe Smasher Pass. It just means
What does that mean?
I'm probably going to have to
Get another monitor?
print the photos and hold them up because I don't really have a easy way to show you what it is without you seeing it in advance, and I feel like you seeing it in the moment
Yeah.
is what
I
did
see
it.
what
Because
you
Corey
mean.
definitely has to be a part of that.
Oh yeah, because
Mhm.
Corey hasn't been a part of a Smasher Pass,
Right.
and I feel like that's just so
How
much more
could you
fun.
do it?
Well, the good thing is they both know what all these characters look like, so I could just say it. But
Yeah.
for the viewers, I'd have to have some sort of representation. And until I get a new PC, this sweet girl ain't got the juice to be able to support having a bunch of photos like she used to. So if I try to pop the photos up while we're streaming, it will crash the stream real hard. So yeah. But anyway,
Makes sense.
hopefully you enjoyed this live stream and you enjoyed talking about if the end is near for Haslab and all of the wonderful crowdfunding that Hasbro has brought us. Let us know in the comments below what you think. Do you think Hasbro's just taking a break? Do you think this is kind of them quietly putting it to sleep and putting it to bed? Or do you think we're going to get flooded with them like we usually do and they're just on a small vacation for Q1? I'm very curious to see what you have to say. Also, head down to our description below and hit our link tree where you can follow us on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Blue Sky, all that fun stuff. You can even join our Discord where you can come hang out and chat. We've got people in there showing off pictures of what they bought, showing pictures they've taken of the figures, talking about stuff. So come join the conversation. What you guys say, Nate?
I was just gonna say the Discord has been popping lately, and it's been fun.
Yes. Especially when Nate accidentally puts things in the Discord instead of in our private chat.
Yeah. Yep.
Good times.
I
good
do that a lot
times.
because I just see a message come over, and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna respond to that.
Which is fine. It's just funny when like you or Corey
Yeah.
both have clicked on the wrong one because they're both labeled Modern Toy Fair.
Yep.
And just started typing, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, that was supposed to be us, not everybody.
Yep.
Luckily, it hasn't been anything
Yeah,
bad.
the
but
one-
it's still funny.
Yeah, the one was not great.
I can't.
The one was not great.
I can't remember which one that was, so you might have to remind me.
I did specifically call out some people we knew, and I was like, oh shit. Not anybody that would like be watching or anything like that, but people that we know way
Outside.
out.
Yeah.
So
People
yeah.
who might click on the link to Discord solely to support us and
No,
No?
I don't think anybody, but still, it was just somebody could know them.
tell them, be like,
so that
man,
was not
Nate was
great."
talking so much shit. Lucky for them, your name's not
Yes.
Nate in the chat, so it doesn't matter.
It's true. It's true.
But yeah, so check that out. We greatly appreciate it. If you'd like to help support us further, you can head over to patreon.com where for $1 a month, you get all the pre-recorded videos early, any photos I take, and you get to even put in fake podcasts and input for the actual podcast. Yes, Corey? Or not Corey?
Did they-
Jarmar?
You said Gordon.
I said Corey.
you
That's his
said
new name, Gordon.
for $1, they get any photo that you take. So
No,
they have like direct
just-
access to your Google photos.
No, just the photos I take of the action figures.
Oh, because
Oh.
that would be worth a
I
dollar.
I
okay.
make sure to put those only in our private chat, Jarmar, unlike some people.
I just needed the clarification.
Uh,
I'm gonna sub.
anyway, yeah. If you have no dollars to throw our way, if you could just share and comment, we greatly appreciate it. The interaction helps YouTube push us to all the wonderful new people. And I don't know if I said it already, but like and subscribe. It helps us out, gets you a bunch of totally content in your feed. You can follow Jarmar over at onlyfans.com/Jarmar sells my photos.
Gordon's
You-
feet pit.
Gordon's
You also
feet pics.
you just gave me consent for that, so thank you.
I don't know if that's consent. We should really work on your definition of consent. It's a little questionable. Just like Corey and his comments that get him removed from the podcast. He had to explain that to our coworkers today. Uh,
That's why he's not here.
Yep.
That's a shame.
He's in timeout because he said some inappropriate things, which is hilarious because you'd always think it'd be Nate the one we'd have to worry about. Nate, which you got
I know my
for-
limits.
I do want to say.
I know to go.
Go ahead.
I go all the way to the line,
Oh, you do.
and then I stop.
Sometimes you grind on that
I
line
push
like
on
it's a thong.
push
Like you
on it.
fucking just
Oh,
drag your asshole across it. And I'm just like, boy, you are pushing it.
Right.
Like that clip that got taken out of context by a certain someone and posted to Instagram.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're gonna have that.
Yeah.
The only thing I have for you this week, and you're gonna see it during our next Thursday night only figs, but do not sleep on the Big Bad Workshop Cops and Crooks Bulletproof. One of the coolest figures to come out here recently. I'm not even the world's biggest Cops and Crooks fan, and this thing is sweet.
Alrighty. Good to know.
Yeah.
Also, I do want to say,
What's
I did check. We did not have any Patreon input this week. I did remember to put the input up, so that one's not on me. I also do want to point out Corey is at Horror Hound this weekend, which I believe is in Cincinnati, Ohio. So if you're in the area and you like horror stuff, or you just want to say hi to Corey, head on over. I do not know what his booth number is. After the experience of ZoloCon, I wouldn't say it anyway because it'd probably change. So
Yeah. Also, just look up. Like, you can see his posters.
oh yeah, he's
from
got a giant sail
pretty far away.
behind it that gets blown away anytime there's a gust of wind, and it's got all the posters. You'll find him. So go say hi.
Yep.
He may still have some stickers that we have for the podcast, or he may even still have. I think he still has my prints from ZoloCon. So ask him for one of those. Yeah. So go check him out, and all the links for all his stuff's down below as well. Vile consumption across all social medias. But I think. How's that? I think that is going to be it. Hopefully we see you next week. Same toy time, same Toy Fair channel. Thank you for watching. Back. This shoulder pulled back as well. Up. Twisted both shoulder and bicep. Bent all the way in. Both wrists, palms. Bent inward, with a little bit of a twist at the torso, not much.